Hey, welcome to another edition of Peak Life. I'm Jim Hazel, and today we're going to talk roads projects, and the guy who should know it all, Jason Brown, is with us today. Thanks for coming.
Hey, Jim. My pleasure. Always happy to be here to talk about things going on in the community.
Well, I've got a list of about 9 projects here, and we're going to try and get through them. So I got friends in Deep Creek. Let's start there. Put about a minute on the clock.
Right. So absolutely the biggest project in town that everyone's been talking about for a long time now is the Deep Creek Bridge Replacement Project, which is not a City of Chesapeake project. It's a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers project.
Okay.
It's an older bridge built in 1934, owned by the Corps of Engineers, crosses the Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway down there at Deep Creek between Moses Grandy and George Washington Highway. It's long known that that's going to be replaced, and we are getting closer. Our friends at the Army Corps of Engineers have been working diligently to acquire the properties around the bridge there that they need to do the project. Only 2 parcels remaining, and they're in the wickets right now with the Department of Defense and Department of Justice. They hope to have final papers on those parcels soon to move forward with advertising that project for construction. They are looking to advertise that project for construction, it looks like, by June 1st of this year.
Oh, great.
They want to award a contract by the end of July, and if all holds true on that schedule, that should be under construction starting this upcoming fall. And the schedule says that'll be complete in 2025. It's going to expand from 2 lanes to 5 lanes. It's going to be 2 separate leaves there that kind of work in conjunction. It really ought to help with a lot of the congestion during the rush hours. They're coming and going in and out of Deep Creek to connect between I-64 and the Great Bridge area. So really looking forward to that project and glad that the Army has been so diligent in pushing this one ahead.
Moving on, Elbow Road, widening, phase not 1, but 2.
But 2, yeah. So Elbow Road, obviously that is a major thoroughfare east and west across town, brings a lot of traffic in and out of neighboring Virginia Beach and Chesapeake. So this is an important project because it's one of those roads in Chesapeake that's an older road. It was obviously constructed a long time ago to older design standards, more traffic, different design standards come through over the years. We need to look at ways that we can expand the infrastructure that we have to bring it up to modern standards. And this is a great example of doing that in the interest of safety and capacity. So what we're doing over there, it's going to start about 3/4 of a mile east of where Centerville Turnpike is, and it's going to go about 1,500 feet west of the city line over with Virginia Beach. So that stretched, it kind of gets narrow and a little bit dark down as you move toward Stumpy Lake and Virginia Beach. We're going to install 2 12-foot wide lanes and paved shoulders and do some stormwater ditch improvements on both sides of the road. Obviously, stormwater management is a huge priority when doing any of these kinds of projects. So we are looking at finishing the design on that in fall 2023. We just had a citizen information meeting on that project to get some feedback from the folks that live over there and travel through there every day. Feedback in any of these projects is critical and make sure that we take everyone's needs into account and do the right thing. But we're looking to begin construction on that widening. Looks like first quarter of 2024 at this point, and expect to be complete first quarter of 2026. So that's another project that's a long time coming, and we're really looking forward to getting completed.
So widening and shoulders to the elbow, so to speak.
Yeah, and the reason for doing widened shoulder in addition to having multiple lanes is because if you have paved shoulder, it adds more of a safety element. You've got more roadway to drive on. And eventually the plan with Elbow Road is to have 4 lanes, 2 lanes in each direction coming into and out of Virginia Beach from Chesapeake.
Right.
So we're going to acquire the right-of-way that's going to allow us in time to add that and make that a 4-lane roadway. We're going to do all the acquisition we need up front so then we can make those modifications moving forward. So this is an important project for the area.
Moving on, let's talk pedestrians this time. Volvo Parkway has a sidewalk extension.
Absolutely. So this is a really important one. And again, when you think about big projects, important projects, we always look at these major transportation projects that involve big budgets and big roadway modifications, but just as important are those multimodal modifications that we need to do to the infrastructure around town. And with Greenbrier developing and growing to what we want it to be, it's important that we make those significant pedestrian accommodations. So there is a section of Volvo Parkway over near Crossways Boulevard, if you know where the police precinct is, down near Sam's Drive, kind of in the heart of Greenbrier going toward Battlefield Boulevard. There is a section of sidewalk that we are looking forward to completing. It crosses the rail line that runs directly adjacent to the police station. So we want to make sure that we have reliable pedestrian access as the number of pedestrians are going to increase through the coming years with the commercial and residential development in the area, to make sure that they have a safe way to get back and forth between the Greenbrier Parkway section and the Battlefield Boulevard section. And that one we're going to actually have a citizen information here in the next couple of weeks to discuss that with folks in the area, get their feedback, and We expect to have design for that project completed in summer of 2022, so this summer. And then moving forward from there, we need to do a little bit of coordination with the railroad to get the right-of-way to cross their rail line. But we look forward to trying to get this one into construction as soon as possible.
And another road that's widening, and I got friends over there too, is Mount Pleasant. How's that coming?
Jim,
and I think
you've
that's
got
still
friends
phase
everywhere.
1 or phase 2.
So Mount Pleasant Road, this is obviously a big one, just like Elbow Road, major east-west thoroughfare bringing traffic to and from Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, and this goes right into the heart of Great Bridge. So we have been under construction on that project for some time now. This is phase 1 of the widening, and this phase of the project runs between where the Chesapeake Expressway is, all the way going eastward until you get to Cooper's Ditch. So right there, like Fentress Road
Not into
area.
the ditch. But
Not into the ditch,
okay.
right. But right there at Fentress Road, Beauregard, that section in there, we are widening that and adding a third lane in the center,
Really?
that dedicated turn lane, because the problem that we've seen
Oh,
historically
it backs up because of the turn.
Exactly. If you've got mail vehicles, you've got our city waste management vehicles, all these other kind of vehicles that have to make stops, UPS, delivery, Amazon, whatnot. They need to make stops, and without a dedicated center lane, that holds up traffic on a very well-traveled road. So the addition of this dedicated turn lane is going to give folks who have to turn onto the residential streets that line Mount Pleasant Road a safe storage place to do that, as well as allowing the east-west capacity to keep moving forward there. We are almost done on phase 1 of the construction. We are targeting a completion of May of this year.
Really?
Weather and materials delivery, obviously everyone's familiar with the supply chain challenges that the construction industries face due to COVID and other economic factors. But just for future reference, there will be a phase 2 widening. It's a similar project that's going to run from where this one leaves off at Cooper's Ditch, and that's going to extend all the way to Centerville Turnpike. More information on that project will be available as soon as we get it.
Terrific. We're at the halfway mark, everybody. This one's more pedestrian friendly. Chesapeake Trail in Western Branch.
Absolutely. So,
Not to be left out, Western Branch.
of course, and I live in Western Branch, so I'm
I
very
got friends
partial
there,
to
too.
Western Branch. So this is a great project. This is one that the community has been absolutely in love with since we announced it, and it's part of a regional effort to basically make an unbroken pedestrian, bicycle, walking, multi-use trail, if you will, all the way from Suffolk through south side of Hampton Roads that terminates at Virginia Beach, and Chesapeake's portion of it happens to run through Western Branch. So we've had to break this project into multiple phases. Phase 1 of that project started in Portsmouth. Moving westward, we got it down to Dorton Street, which is a residential street along the Taylor Road corridor there in Western Branch. We've got that paved, benches, amenities, trash cans, all installed. Phase 2 of that project is going to literally pick up where the asphalt leaves off and take it all the way down to Taylor Road for the Western Branch folks. It's going to terminate right there at Taylor Road behind where Spaghetti Eddie's is in the shopping center. That's phase 2. It's going to look just like phase 1. It's going to make that trail portion there completely paved. Phase 3, this is where we need some engineers to come in and really do the right thing as far as aligning this trail and making it all connect. So at this point, the alignment for phase 3 of that trail is going to start at Spaghetti Eddie's, at the trailhead there on Taylor. It's going to come south on Taylor, and then it's going to turn westward onto Bruce Road. For Western Branch folks, we know that Bruce Road terminates at its westbound terminus at where Gum Road goes south, and there's a wood line there. The trail will then go into the wood line and cross VDOT and railroad right-of-way areas, where it'll then connect to the trail alignment moving towards Suffolk over in the Pughesville area.
Okay.
So that's phase 3, and that takes, again, some coordination with our partners in VDOT and with the Commonwealth Railway, because there will be some coordination in how we get the trail to cross an active rail line there safely. So that's a significant piece of making this connection happen. But we've got great plans, and we've got great working relationships with those partners. We're looking forward to actually getting funding for both phases 2 and 3. The Commonwealth Transportation Board is actually looking forward to a vote here in the coming weeks that could see them approve funding for both of those phases. And if that funding is approved, and we do anticipate that it will be, we should be looking at doing construction of phase 2 early next year, 2023, and construction of phase 3 starting in early 2024. So this long dream of having this incredible trail in Western Branch that connects the region for bicyclists, runners, pedestrians. We're getting really close to making this a reality, and everyone in that area is very, very excited.
And you could just have some spaghetti at Spaghetti Eddie's and walk it off on the trail right there.
That's carbo loading, right? That's what they call that in the ultra running industry.
Okay, now we're not in the home stretch yet, but we're over the halfway mark. Do you need some water before we go on? Because Gilmerton Bridge repairs is next.
Yeah, so let's press through. Gilmerton Bridge, again, talking about major thoroughfares through town. South Military Highway cuts right through the heart of Chesapeake, and of that corridor, the Gilmerton Bridge is a significant portion of that. That's a bridge that gets a lot of use, a lot of lifts during the day, much to the chagrin of commuters when the boats have to pass through. However,
but it makes it scenic.
It does make it scenic. It is a beautiful drive if you cross the Gilmerton and you can look left and right, up and down the Elizabeth River. But movable bridges have a lot of moving parts, and a lot of moving parts means more maintenance than maybe a fixed bridge. So as part of that, we need to make some repairs to the counterweight track system on that bridge. It's a relatively minor repair, but because of the nature of what we need to do and have our contractors come in and do, it is going to result in some weekend closures of the Gilmerton Bridge. It's going to have a detour. The detour will likely be on I-64 crossing the high-rise bridge. It's going to take significant coordination with VDOT because they obviously have their own high-rise bridge and Southside Widening project happening just upstream from that. So we're going to work with VDOT. We are still awaiting some materials delivery for the structural steel as part of that project. Obviously, again, we mentioned supply chain has put a kink in that, and we're looking forward to keeping this as on schedule as we can. At this point, we expect that we'll do the construction on this probably in late August or early September. And that's, again, partially because of supply chain and partially because we want to try to deconflict some of the traffic issues that this could cause with VDOT because we'll need to detour onto their facility at the high-rise bridge. But as more information comes available on this one, we'll make sure to get that out because while it's a weekend closure of the bridge, it's not a commuter closure. It's still a significant thoroughfare that's going to be out of service for, it looks like 6 consecutive weekends coming in early fall. So, everyone who takes that corridor, lives in that area routinely, please stay tuned and we'll make sure.
At least it's on the weekend.
That's probably the best case scenario is to do it on the weekend. We were considering looking at doing it overnight, but I think doing it on the weekend gives us more construction bang for our buck and to make it as painless as we possibly can.
And our third bridge, which happens to be the triple-decker bridge, also needs rehabilitation.
So if you haven't figured it out by now, Chesapeake's got a lot of bridges,
yes,
right?
we do.
And that's by virtue of just having a lot of beautiful water.
Yeah,
but we got to cross it, right? So it's important to keep our infrastructure in good shape. And a part of doing that is the triple-decker bridge. And for those who may not know what that bridge is, that is the intersection of Bainbridge Boulevard, South Military Highway, and the railroad there in the South Norfolk area. It's a bridge that, unfortunately, based on the elevations and some tidal issues there, we have a little bit of flooding beneath that bridge at times for folks who live in South Norfolk, probably familiar with that as the bridge where the flooding is. But with that said, that also is an older structure that requires a major rehabilitation, and that's not just a couple bolts or a couple pieces of steel. That's going to be a significant amount of concrete work that we're going to need to do on the triple-decker bridge in both the South Military span and the lower part there at Bainbridge. So that's going to be about a 2-year project.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is a one that we've been wanting to do for some time now. We're glad to finally be able to do that. That is not going to result, at least at this point, in any planned full closures of Military Highway or Bainbridge Boulevard at that area. But there will be some lane closures, probably going from 4 to 2 lanes, closing outside or inside lanes as we move through the construction periods. Again, we're looking to start construction on this rehabilitation project this upcoming summer. The lane closure information on Military Highway and on Bainbridge, we'll make sure we get that available through our travel advisories page and our Chesapeake Roads Twitter account as that comes up. But just something that's going to linger around, that's not going to be a quick project. It's going to last about 2 years, we expect. And it'll just be something that folks have to kind of work with us as we get that bridge rehabilitated because we desperately do need to do it. It's one of the most critical pieces of infrastructure in the South Norfolk area, and we're dedicated to making sure that we keep it in good repair.
And they don't call it triple-decker for nothing. All right, so now we're getting close to the home stretch. Chesapeake Avenue area drainage utility improvements.
Absolutely. So this is the first time we've talked so far about a real stormwater improvement. I mean, a lot of our projects that people see in Chesapeake are transportation. It's roads and bridges and
the orange cones. Yeah.
People use that every day. But just as important, and I would say in some cases even more important, is maintaining a good stormwater system and make sure that we can convey drainage from where it falls to where it needs to go. And doing that can be a challenge, especially when you've got older infrastructure. So looking at this project, this is a major drainage and utility improvement project in the South Norfolk area as well. up in Chesapeake Avenue. And this is going to replace some of the existing drainage, water, and sanitary sewer infrastructure. So we're actually working in concert with our public utilities team to do some improvements there in the neighborhood. So we're going to have some realignment of the stormwater system along Guerriere Street, Chesapeake Avenue, Ohio Street, Rogers Street, Jefferson Street, and Stewart Street. Basically, in short, we're going to rebuild the stormwater system in that area and add in some modernized sanitary sewer and water delivery infrastructure. Long overdue. Obviously, everyone knows that South Norfolk is a very historic neighborhood, and coming with that is a lot of historic infrastructure that does need to be replaced. So this is a way that we're going to tackle that problem and try to do the utility improvements at the same time as the stormwater improvements, so we don't need to do multiple digs.
Yeah.
Try to get that all done all at once
Working smarter.
to reduce the impact to the folks who live in the community. There will be significant impacts. We're going to obviously need to bore into several of the streets there, and we'll have lane tapering and some lane closures throughout the project. We're actually going to be having a citizen information meeting online about this project in the coming weeks. We expect the folks who live in South Norfolk to give us great feedback about how important this project is and to ask questions about the impacts that they're going to experience as we go through the construction of it. But we're looking at design completion on phase 1 of the project later this year, and phase 2 early next year, say spring of 2023. And we expect to advertise for those construction bids for phase 1 next spring, 2023, and then phase 2 in fall of 2023. So construction is probably close to 2024 for this project, but because of the size and the scope and the impact of it, we definitely wanted to start having those conversations now with the local residents and get this on folks' radar. This is coming, it's overdue, and we want to make sure that we get these improvements taken care of.
Awesome. Last one, Jason. Johnstown Road widening. Take a deep breath. And then we're in the home stretch now for sure.
That's right. So Johnstown Road, obviously, now we talked a lot about east-west thoroughfares. Now we're looking at kind of a north-south corridor in the Great Bridge area, coming out of southern Chesapeake into Great Bridge. So Johnstown Road, we have a project that's going to add a center lane on Johnstown Road between Hanbury Road and Waters Road. So kind of there in that more developed, populous area of Great Bridge. A traffic study concluded that we didn't need an additional left turn lane at that intersection of Hanbury and Johnstown Road, but we really need to have a center lane added in that area to make turning into the neighborhoods on each side of Johnstown safer. Not very different from what we're doing on Mount Pleasant Road. Okay. So we started designing that in March 2019, and we're getting close to finishing design on that. We're looking to finish the design work on that project this upcoming fall, and probably look forward to construction sometime early next year. It's worth noting that we've had some folks in that area that have asked about the prospect of widening further south on Johnstown Road as we get closer to Benefit Road. Yeah. And I'm happy to say that that also is going to be coming on the horizon. We do have an approved project that's going to do some ditch and shoulder improvements along Johnstown from where Stonegate subdivision is all the way down just short of where Benefit Road is. That's going to do paved surface. Again, we talked earlier about the benefit of having paved shoulders instead of just ditch as soon as you get off the asphalt.
No one wants to go in a ditch.
No one wants to, and unfortunately, we do see that sometimes in southern Chesapeake. So as we get the funding and the design work done, we'd like to, where the demand is most needed, install wider roadway surfaces to improve safety. And if we can, in the process, set ourselves up in the long run to add additional lanes if we deem it necessary. But the widening on the southern part of Johnstown Road, we've got funding that's going to be approved that's going to come in kind of chunks over the next couple of years. Our first round of funding we're going to get in fiscal year 2025, so that's July of 2024. The first round of funding for that second phase of the widening, which is more south than this initial phase that we're going to be finishing design up this summer. But just wanted to let folks know down there on Johnstown and the associated neighborhoods that we are definitely going to be doing improvements all the way down to Benefit Road to kind of widen and make that corridor more safe for the folks that travel every day.
That's terrific, man. That's a lot to take in. But we're moving forward left, right, and center on these roadways and waterways.
Chesapeake is my last check, the 17th largest city in the United States by land area. So we've got a lot of area and a lot of roadways, a lot of systems to maintain, and it's important that we take feedback, we do the research, and we improve these roads and stormwater systems for the better of the residents out there, and we'll continue to do that. I
appreciate that, Jason. And so if people want more, even though we've covered everything,
Believe it or not, it's not everything. There are far more projects that we're working on.
Do tell.
Smaller projects, but the best way to get the latest information on those projects is visit the City of Chesapeake website, cityofchesapeake.net. Go to the Public Works page and click on Active Projects. You'll find a list of stormwater and transportation projects, and if you have any questions at any time, give us a call at our Customer Contact Center, 382-CITY.
Perfect. Thanks, Jason. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time right here on Peak Life. Be safe out on those roadways and watch out for the cones and, of course, the construction workers. We'll see you next time.